Hello everyone, and welcome back to the 48th episode of PandTha Talks. I,
Hello.
I totally wasn't just trying to work that out in my head.
Listen, man, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a sad day. I finished for work for the year, so happy days.
Lucky get.
Yeah, that's all my holidays gone until January starts back up.
Oh, you have to wait
Yeah.
until January, you poor little guy.
Mate, I've been saving them all year. Been saving those days all year just so I could do this.
So hard done by this one.
Fuck off. But to be honest, this week we've got quite an interesting episode.
Yep, so it would
So
seem.
we have. I'll go over what basically we're going to cover this episode. There's possibly going to be some more bits. It always happens with us. For some reason, we're quite common with just jumping between things. So, one of the main things to cover is we have updates on The Last of Us Online, which people have been waiting for a long time.
I didn't even know that was going to be a thing.
Yeah, it was part of the original game, so with the remaster coming out, everyone were waiting for it basically. Article to do with Sony pulling Discovery videos down, and PlayStation users who already own the content of Discovery sparking concern over digital future because they lost their rights to them files that they paid for.
I see.
E3
Oh, I forgot
news
about that.
has come out. IGN seeming to have a slight bias on Xbox versus PlayStation. The day before the fiasco from fucking hell.
Man, that's took some turn.
Oh, hasn't it just? And finally, PC gaming's biggest disappointments of 2023.
Take out like 4 games and everything.
Yeah, exactly my fault. But with all that said, let's get on and into what we're doing. So I'll do my screen share for Will. That way he's not sat there going, what the fuck?
I'm just, I envision it in my mind, with my phenomenal imagination.
Imagination. So, an update on The Last of Us Online. We realise many of you have been anticipating news around the project that we've been calling The Last of Us Online. There's no easy way to say this. We've made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game.
Wait, what?
Yep, they have stopped development entirely, which is, it's actually kind of gutted a lot of people who love The Last of Us. And to be honest, I am a little bit confused about it, considering they've earned a lot of fucking dough when you consider, let's say, the show, the games, and any other sort of like merch and anything else. It's a massive franchise. I'm struggling to see where they basically needed to cancel it because whatever reason. They had the equity to do so, so it's a bit odd. We know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated The Last of Us factions community, who have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We're equally crushed at the studio as we were looking forward to putting it in your hands. We wanted to share with you some of the background of how we came to this decision. The multiplayer team has been in pre-production for this game since we were working on The Last of Us Part 2. Crafting an experience we felt was unique and had tremendous potential. As the multiplayer team iterated on their concept of The Last of Us Online during this time, their vision crystallized, the gameplay got more refined and satisfying, and we were enthusiastic about the direction we were heading in. In ramping up to full production, the massive scope of our ambition became clear. To release and support The Last of Us Online, we'd have to put all our studio's resources behind supporting post-launch content for years to come, severely impacting development on future single-player games. So we had two paths in front of us: become a solely live service game studio, or continue to focus on single-player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage. In regards to that, I can see why they've done it. It makes sense.
From the sounds of what they're saying, they've stressed themselves too thin trying to work on so many projects at once.
Yeah.
And they've decided, let's not follow this year's trend of releasing terrible performance games and releasing multiple of those at once, and let's focus on the projects we've got going and make sure they're to the best that they can be.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, once again though, with the money that they've pulled in, I'm surprised they don't have more staff that they could just put dedicated to this stuff.
Yeah.
So it just kind of surprised me, but then again, would that give less content over the years? Maybe. But would people be more interested when a new update comes? Of course they are.
Well, with how everything's been, we definitely need to see a change in something from this year.
Oh, definitely, mate. Right, here we are. We are immensely proud of everyone at the studio that touched this project. The learnings and investments in the technology from this game will carry on into how we develop our projects, and will be invaluable in the direction we are headed as a studio. We have more than one ambitious brand new single player game that we're currently working on here at Naughty Dog, and cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we're ready. Until then, we're incredibly thankful to our community for your support throughout the years. So yeah, some sad news for The Last of Us fans, but at the same time it seems like Naughty Dog's done the right thing in my opinion, of not stretching themselves further and causing a complete catastrophe for all future games.
Yeah, which is definitely the way to go about it.
100%.
There's no point releasing multiple bad games when you can get out one high performance game. I think anyone would prefer that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if I'm honest with you, mate, it's good to see that basically a company has actually thought about this a little and gone, oh yeah, let's not follow this year's massive trend of fucking up our entire industry.
Problem is, like, if they were to release it and it went really bad for them, they sort of screw themselves. You know, they tarnish their own name a little bit. Everyone gets angry because they paid for a game that's just not up to par.
Yep.
Overall, it's just a massive negative chain of events.
Too true on that one. Sony pulls Discovery videos PlayStation users already own, sparking concern over our digital future. Sony has signalled its intention to pull some PlayStation content even from those who bought it, sparking concern from customers. In a brief notice on the PlayStation website, Sony has said it plans to remove hundreds of Discovery films from users' video libraries, preventing them from watching the content they'd paid money for. Sony explained the decision as being due to content licensing arrangements with content providers. Here's the statement in full. As of the 31st of December 2023, due to our content licensing agreements with content providers, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your video library. We sincerely thank you for your continued support. Thank you, PlayStation. I'd just like to point out how much of a cunt move that statement is. It's basically just, this is what we're doing, bye.
Yeah, they're not like, they're not upset about it. They don't like seem at all bothered by it. They're just like, yep, you're no longer getting this stuff, even though you paid for it. It's gone. Thanks for the money. Bye.
Yeah. And if they paid direct for like a specific film or something, that's gone. the money they paid for that film was basically pointless.
That's crazy, man. Is that
Oh.
not just technically stealing?
Um,
Like, you pay money to gain access to this license, and you're not given access to it.
I'm no lawyer.
It feels like fraud.
I have to state this first. I'm not a lawyer. I've never done a law school. But I do need to say, I reckon there will be something as a part of the agreements that you sign, basically before you get it or whatever else, that will protect them. Though,
Probably, yeah.
that does not stop it being scummy. Which is the big difference.
Speaking again of tarnishing their name.
Yeah, Sony are quite good at that.
They're getting even better at it too, man.
Aren't they just? There follows a long list of affected video content, which includes over 1,000 seasons of shows, including Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman, Tanked, Mythbusters, and An Idiot Abroad. The decision has sparked backlash online and fueled concern around ownership of digital media. Video game preservation is a hot topic within the industry, but the issue of content removal from digital platforms is top of mind of movie and TV makers too. Last month, Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro backed Oppenheimer director Christopher Nolan in championing physical media amid controversial moves by streamers that have seen some films pulled from availability. Redditor Skatenator, I don't know, said they would never lose the Discovery shows they paid for. I just received an email from PS about how the end of year, due to licensing arrangements, I will no longer be able to watch any of my previously purchased Discovery content. Skater said, "Is there a way I can save this content? I use PS4, but I have bought many seasons of shows such as Dual Survival that I do not wish to lose. I was actually under the impression since I owned it, I wouldn't ever lose it. There is currently no way to back up purchased PlayStation Store content, video content from PS4 or PS5. They cannot be transferred to a disc by any means." Overall, that is a very scummy move. Some of the reactions to this as well.
Yeah,
Tell
I
us-
can't imagine like I can just picture Reddit in my head right now, just comments just flying down page after page, you know?
Oh yeah, this seems like Twitter. Tell us again how having the internet helps you in cases like this. Hashtag PlayStation Discovery content will be gone by the end of the year due to licensing arrangements expiring. Does it... oh yeah. At Sony, at PlayStation, at Ask PlayStation, at Discovery, I'm expecting a full refund for all my purchases immediately. I purchased all these TV shows on your platform and you're removing my purchased content. Even the FTC was tagged. Wild, if you purchased any of these titles via PlayStation, they're going to disappear soon. Too bad for you. Buying digital media is simply renting with an open-ended expiration date. They can and will take it from you when they feel like it. If I only played PlayStation, I'd be really concerned about all digital future. This is bad, and it's crazy no one is talking about it. It's just... I can't comprehend either how PlayStation are basically just there like, yeah, cool, whatever. They just do not seem to care. Oh, wait.
No, it doesn't seem that way.
Sony has form when it comes to pulling content from its own users already. Last year, Sony removed purchased Studio Canal content from PlayStation users in Germany and Austria due to evolving licensing agreements with its content providers, leaving users unable to view purchased content in their library. It's worth noting that when Sony stopped selling TV shows and movies from the PlayStation Store in 2021, it said users would still be able to access existing purchases. At Sony Interactive Entertainment, we strive to provide the best entertainment experience for PlayStation fans, and that means evolving our offerings as customers need change. Vanessa Lee, head of video business, Sony Interactive Entertainment, said at that time, "We've seen tremendous growth of PlayStation fans using subscription-based and ad-based entertainment streaming services on our consoles. With this shift, in customer behavior, we have decided we will no longer offer movie and TV purchases and rentals through PlayStation Store of August 31st, 2021. When this change takes effect, users can still access movies and content they have purchased through PlayStation Store for on-demand playback on their PS4, PS5 and mobile devices. We thank our fans for their continued support and look forward to further enhancing the entertainment experience on PlayStation." So what's changed in 2 years?
It also just sounds like they came to the end of a license agreement and didn't renew it, or weren't able to renew it.
I'd say didn't by choice, from the sounds of things.
Yeah.
But it is concerning. So, E3. It has been officially announced by the Entertainment Software Association, the ESA, that E3 has ended permanently. It will not be returning.
Oh, I remember. Was it this or something else that we covered that was like one of these shows before?
We were talking briefly about E3 throughout the year because it was suspected that it was going to turn up, but it didn't in the end. They had to shut it off. But yeah, E3 years ran from 1995 until I'd say about 2019, 2020 possibly, but it says 1995 to 2023. I can't say that completely, but yeah, it's sad to see, but we're at the end of an era. E3 no longer there. It is kind of ironic.
It was too much of a hit, I suppose, and they couldn't recover from it.
Yeah, the big C caused a lot of issues like that, sadly, and that's kind of where we are now. It's kind of ironic though that they've ended E3 in 2023. I do have to admit. Moving on. Remember how I said it looks like IGN's got a bit of a vendetta against Xbox?
Against Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was scrolling down IGN's Twitter earlier. I think it was like Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, scrolling down, and I was taking a look at what they were talking about, that sort of stuff. Because there was a post on a friend of mine's account, and they were talking about how basically IGN was just shit posting about Xbox in one of their, I think it was like reviews or something. I couldn't remember in full. I'll have to see if I can find it and put it over the screen. But then I started to scroll down the regular IGN account because that was the one I could find. And they're posting shit like, "Here's how to cancel your Xbox Game Pass subscription." An entire article dedicated to it. Which is weird, because they don't do the same thing for PlayStation. Even though, as a friend of me were talking about on Thursday, because I think it seems like it was Thursday then that I found this. We were discussing this, and what we came to in agreement was the games you get from PlayStation Plus aren't really that good. They haven't been for a long while.
I mean, we did also go over this ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
At one point when you were talking about the Game Passes versus each other.
Yeah.
And we agreed that PlayStation not only forced you to always use their controller, but the games were not like fresh released games. They were like all 2 years old. There was like a couple. But in comparison to Xbox, not a significant amount.
No, exactly. But in comparison, Game Pass has always been a lot stronger. And the games that you get, quite a lot of them are day ones. You get a lot of variety. There's just a lot more there. And you can play most games one a day. You could play a different game every day if you wanted. I'd
Yeah.
say it'd take you about a year and a half. Maybe longer, to be honest. But it's just fascinating.
To be honest, the fact that there's day one releases in that is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Especially for the subscription fee that they're like charging for it. It's not as much.
Yeah.
But IGN posted this article. The response pretty much sums up how I feel regarding this. Here's how to unfollow IGN. And it's just a GIF. Or
Nice.
how to cancel PlayStation Plus subscription, ?
Yeah.
Opera GX replied,
Oh no.
did Sony fund this article? Crying face. And then half an hour later, they posted, never mind guys, they do like Xbox, hinting to this singular article. Best game of Game Pass, February 2023.
Dear oh dear.
I think we know when they started to hate Xbox. At this point, you guys aren't even being discreet about it. For Black Friday, both new and current users have the opportunity to score savings of up to 30% on PS Plus memberships. Meanwhile, IGN summed up, pathetic. You should probably have done the PlayStation or Nintendo one first, though I get what they might not have got the same levels of engagement, lol. Apple TV Plus subscription, how to cancel your Disney Plus subscription, Amazon Prime, Netflix.
So it seems to me like it just set off a trend of memes.
Yeah. Hyped. Great information. Thanks, IGN. IGN, you're pure garbage. Here's how to cancel your PS subscription, IGN. IGN, how to cancel your Xbox One. Everything you need to know about PS Plus. Ouch. But yeah, that's the fun one with the IGN basically looking as though that's what they want to do. I'll be honest, I find this fucking dumb. This is coming from an Xbox. Why though? It's the best deal in gaming. That's true, but the photo he posts underneath. Spider-Man on a grave, Wolverine on a grave, Blade stood there with the Xbox logo on his chest. Reason I say this is fucking dumb. This has been created by Arcane, which usually I go, that's pretty cool, it could be alright. But the last vampire game they made was Redfall. I think they should have stayed away from vampire games, not gone all the way back to it. But hey, who am I? I'm no major person in the games industry. It's not my job. I guess we
It's
best.
crazy how embarrassing this year was for games, dude.
Fucking too true. You know, I've decided, Will. We were discussing about what we could possibly do on for Christmas. We're both gonna compile a list, my friend.
Okay.
So we're gonna basically pick between 1 and 5. We're both one of us is gonna get 3 numbers on one of the lists. One of us is gonna get 3 numbers on the other. The other person's gonna get 2 for the other lists. And basically, I'll explain it in full later to you after, but we'll pick games that we think were the best and the worst of the year.
Well, best won't take too long because I think there's only 3 games that could be considered that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. See if we can get 5 games in that list. But yeah, we'll do that for the Christmassy episode, and we'll try and talk about some positivity to look forward to for the next year. 'Cause fuck me, we need it. Ugh, fucking hell. We're on the 16th of December and this is what we're at. So I guess we should talk about the day before.
Yeah.
I feel depressed even mentioning it. So, for those who don't know, that meme. Those who know. No. It's not quite how this works. So, I'm going to go to Steam. Fingers crossed I've set this up correctly. I have. Let's see if I can still find it. I can! Overwhelmingly negative, 15% positive out of 22,208 reviews. It released on the 7th of December. So it's been 9 days since release. You can probably see, but you're unable to purchase the game anymore.
Yeah, that happened 4 days in.
Yeah, something like that. So, the game came out, it released. Everyone kind of sat there scratching their head going, this is not what we were promised. The game was basically like a very small map in comparison to what people were told. There was countless crashes that broke the game entirely. What else was there? It was a very, as I said, small scale map. It was basically a small scale Tarkov extraction shooter. Except shit.
Yeah.
I need to add that and stress that vehemently. Now, as you can see, you can't purchase this game. Because apparently, what's happening... This was on my wish list, so I can remove that now at least. What's happening is Steam are refunding everyone the game. Which is good. You can see almost all of these are product refund. I mean, this guy was able to get a refund at 6.5 hours.
Yeah, I saw
Which
Asmongold got refunded at 3.4.
Jesus Christ, I just shit myself. I've just realised I've still got my speaker sound on. Oh, that... I do apologise. The crap out of me. Here's me, I literally flipped round, looked around the room thinking someone was stood right next to my ear fucking shouting. Oh dear God, why did I do that? Anyways, sorry for that. Fix that problem now. But yeah, Asmongold got a refund, you said?
Yeah, 3.4 hours he had in it and he got refunded. I saw
Yeah.
a TikTok clip of him.
5.5 there, 15.5 there. They're giving full refunds no matter the
Honestly,
time you got in.
you kind of gotta give him some credit for that, you know?
No, you don't.
No? Or are they
Because
being
it
forced
wasn't
to?
by their choice.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Now, this is where it gets fun. Fantastic. As people have started to point out, they've closed their doors. Except, some of their games seem to be suddenly switching who owns it. Turns out, the reason we're getting refunds for this game is because a nice little backer who backed this game and actually funded it, they have forced it. They forced the refunds. The people who funded the game themselves, the big companies behind it, have said they will refund everyone. They're working with Steam to do that. Which, as you can see, is definitely happening. Which is good. I'll be honest though, it's the first time I've actually scrolled down a game and seen product refunded so many fucking times.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely impressed. They released the day before and closed the day after. That's officially my favourite review. So
it didn't go well for them, that's for sure. They definitely are not made a good name for themselves.
Not at all. So the day before, developers shuts down 4 days after launch. Well, the day before isn't a scam crowd, is not looking too hot today. 4 days after launch, when the day before attracted 500,000 viewers on Steam after selling early access for $40, its developer, Fantastic, is shutting down completely, according to a new statement. The just released announcement says the day before failed financially, and that the income that was brought in is being used to pay off debts. They say they cannot afford to patch the extremely broken game, which launched in an entirely different genre than was originally promised, an extraction shooter rather than a survival MMO. They fucked up. The message
very much.
Oh, yeah. The message goes on to say that the day before did not take any crowdfunding development and they worked hard for 5 years to get the game out. But of course they did take the $40 off everyone who paid for the game in these last 4 days of launch. Now I'd like to just point something out. About 1.5 years ago, or something like that, actually it could be in the early days of the podcast, there was a guy who was one of the Discord mods, because there was no proof this game even existed, say for a couple of trailers, and the trailers didn't show anything concrete. He was defending the game vehemently for a long time, and it was like a year ago or something like that. He came out to say he wasn't even sure whether the game existed. He couldn't even be certain. So, is this 5 years of work, or is it 6 months of work? It looks like 6 months of work and an asset flip, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They say at the moment, the day before servers will remain operational, where somehow there are still 4,400 concurrent players, with 7,600 peak in the last 24 hours. Its all-time high was 38,000 concurrents on Steam. Official statement, fantastic, the day before and prop night. Now, this is something else I need to, express here. Prop night was actually forced into people's hands. Not because people were forced to pay it or anything, but what it was, people were waiting for the day before stream. We got I think about a 1.5-minute trailer, which they failed to even get working correctly the first day. So the second day they finally got it up. And then they went, stay tuned for something exciting at the end. Now people are thinking this is early access or a beta announcement, something like that. No. They announced an entirely new game, Prop Night, which was buyable that day. It was dumb. But I gotta say, it says something when you get called out by Running with Scissors, who made the Postal games. Where do you think you're going? Refund these people now, then you can say goodbye and never come back.
Yeah.
The fact that Running with Scissors just came out and went, no, can't. Get back here. We're closing rumours suggesting we have changed our name are not true. We have not been affiliated with the Wild A for many years. Now, the reason this has been brought up is because there's a new controversy about it, which is that all of a sudden, we're starting to see that some games, I think it was, what is it? The studio behind the day before Fantastic seems to have rebranded itself when the developers listed for a previous game, The Wild 8, was changed to 8 Points. It was later revealed that a different studio took over development of The Wild 8 years ago and changed the developer name to distance itself from Fantastic. So why is it only just changed 2 days ago? Seems very concerning. But overall, what I can say for a fact is, yeah, they're a bit dumb. Oh, Matona, here it is. These are the guys who were the publishers. This is what they posted. To all the day before players, as the investors of the day before, we would like to provide some updates on the current situation around the game. We are sorry for the fact that the game didn't meet the expectations of the majority of players. Today we will work with Steam to open up refunds for any player who choose to make a refund. We're in contact with Fantastic regarding the future of the game. Matona. It says something that the fucking publishers have to force the refund.
Yeah. I have no words for it, man, to be completely honest. I think this, do you reckon this is the biggest blunder we've seen all year?
I'd say it's up there. Definitely up there. This whole thing was just an utter nightmare. Incredibly misleading trailers showing a game that did not exist, where I am guessing a significant amount of money was invested in making those spots look genuine. And even if they're saying that revenue is going toward paying their debts, any non-refunded cash was essentially just thrown away by players. I would venture a guess that they were a colossal amount of refunds that decimated any income they did receive once players realised what they actually bought. The final product was a bizarre, broken mess, a Division-like city using bought assets that featured maybe 3 or 4 zombies in an hour play session. Player versus player battles were glitched and wrecked by server issues. Occasionally players would lose their entire inventory and need to start over. It was both A, nothing that was promised, and B, released utterly broken. In a year where the... Go on,
If you want to consider utterly broken, you fall through the map the moment you become a character, then yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that clip or not.
I didn't know.
I have no idea who it was. I don't even think I knew them. Full stop. And they basically their character stood up out of the bed and just fell through the floor straight away.
Fucking hell.
Uh-huh.
In a year where there have been thousands of layoffs in gaming industry, it's theoretically tough to see a studio shut down. But Fantastic is a bit of a different case. And I don't know what they were doing the last 5 years, but they repeatedly lied about what the game was and charged players $40 for a completely different, broken product. Now, 4 days later, they're taking the money and running. No matter if they're spending it on debts or not, this was a scam. Maybe the game did exist, but it was a scam all the same. Even the studio's website has been completely erased and replaced by the shutdown message. They have also scrubbed their entire YouTube channel. Go on.
Did you see the bug with when the guy's teammate shot one bullet out of his gun and it sounded like he was spraying like 100 rounds?
No, I actually haven't seen any content on this game. I
you've
avoided it like the plague. I knew it was shit from the moment I knew it was going to be released, and I kind of avoided it due to that. I didn't want to depress myself. I already have one Forspoken, I don't need a second one. Don't you laugh, sir. I've got 15 days. I'm counting down, okay? This always smelled rotten from the start. And while smaller dev teams should often be supported in their endeavours, I think players have to realise AAA level promises among studios of this size and a totally unknown reputation cannot be trusted. Really, I really do not want to see this happen again. Okay. So yeah, that is pretty much Forspoken. Yeah, we'll go with that. The day before. Basically Forspoken Online. There you go. An absolute shit show that shouldn't have been, should never have come out, and should hopefully stay gone. So, let's go to this interesting little mess, shall we? PC Gaming's Biggest Disappointments of 2023 by Robin Valentine.
There's quite a few of them.
Oh yeah. It's been kind of a weird year for games, all in all. We've had amazing surprises. Dave the Diver surfaced out of nowhere to steal our hearts. Cyberpunk 2077 completed its redemption arc with a flourish. And of course, Baldur's Gate 3 smashed even our already high expectations. But it's also been a year of remarkable disappointments. As we come to the season of Game of the Year awards, it feels surreal that certain major releases that have been hotly anticipated for years aren't even in the conversation, thanks to their lukewarm or worse receptions, and that's even before we even got into the multiple full-on train wrecks. They say if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. I don't think I could take another Redfall anytime soon. So let's look back at the year's biggest disappointments and see if we can collectively will 2024 be a bit less rocky. Okay. I've stopped commenting on blunders of article writers at this point. I'm just done.
Just accept the fate, Rory.
Yeah, pretty much. They write for a living. What else am I to expect? Starfield, number 1. For 5 years, the gaming community salivated at the prospect of a big, new single-player Bethesda RPG. The galactic setting promising free exploration of nearly 2,000 planets and moons, set minds racing, conjuring images of game orders of magnitude larger than Skyrim, ready to consume hundreds of hours of our time. But then it came out and it was just kind of boring. Planet exploration turned out to be a hollow and repetitive Space travel was primarily fast travelling via menus, and the settings felt dry and lifeless. Some liked it more than others, and feelings were definitely mixed on our team. But even our reviewer Chris, who was probably the biggest fan at PC Gamer, ultimately felt it fell far short of the greatness of Fallout 4 and Skyrim, giving it a respectable but far from genre-shaking 75%. Most revealing is how much the initial enthusiasm that was there has cooled over time. The subreddit that was once a buzz with defenders is now a pretty solemn place where people talk about mods fixing an endless list of issues. In less than 3 months, Steam reviews went from very positive to mixed, and at the Game Awards it didn't pick up a single win. I have to admit, I never personally had particularly high hopes. I'm not convinced that the modern team at Bethesda has what it takes to innovate in the genre anymore. But even still, if you told me at the start of 2023 that the RPG everyone would be talking about all year wasn't the new Bethesda game, but an old school isometric D&D game, I wouldn't have believed you. Next, Redfall. Do we even need to cover Redfall? I think everyone remembers.
Yeah,
that game was a fucking
I think everyone remembers
shit show.
quite a bit.
Like, we've just talked about it with Blade. Like, you know. Once again, just to point out, heading into my first hands-on preview with Redfall, I just took it as read that I was in for a good time. Okay. Between its two studios, Arcane's track record includes some of the best immersive sims of all time, and though Redfall represented a branching out into a new genre, co-op shooter, it looked ready to combine it with the freedom, fun, and intricate level design the developers are known for. They basically failed on all that. That's all there is to it. That they failed across.
On everything.
Yeah. For some reason, this is coming under the RTX 4060 and 4060 Ti. I mean, yeah, biggest. The fact though that he mentions it's been a weird year for games all in all, but then goes on to biggest PC disappointments, it's like, okay, one or the other, please. Whatever.
Make up your minds, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Given the high prices of Nvidia's current crop of flagship GPUs, it was no surprise that many gamers were holding out hope for a decent mid-range to budget offering in the form of a 4060 and RTX 4060 Ti. What was surprising and disappointing in equal measures was the eventual release of the two cards with only 8GB of video RAM and the frosty reception they received. While Nvidia maintained that 8GB was sufficient, thanks to its level 2 cache and faster clocks, that didn't stop it from responding to the poor reception of these new GPUs with a 16GB variant of this 4060 Ti for $100 more. while at the same time releasing reams of benchmark data to prove that the 16GB card performed no better than the 8GB card. Many took to Twitter furious that Nvidia seemed not to have the best interests of its budget-conscious consumers at heart. The 4060 and its Ti variant will likely go down something as a misstep, and perhaps even the moment PC gamers began to turn on Nvidia's current pricing models and focus on its high-end GPU market, leaving more mainstream gamers feeling like they've been left out in the cold. The day before we have just covered, so I'm jumping straight over that. The ROG Ally's Achilles heel. Do you remember us discussing this one, Will?
I actually don't know.
It's the Windows 11 version of the Steam Deck, basically. It's the Asus version.
Okay.
So, it basically ran Windows 11 instead of Linux, like the Steam Deck did. So, the ROG Ally blasted onto the scene earlier this year with an impressive and shiny custom AMD processor and a will to take the high-end handheld crown. It was an open goal at the time. You had an odd crowd-funded handheld there, or they're promising to deliver a powerful PC in a pocket-sized chassis. But no one soundly laid a flag at the high-end portable niche, despite Valve energizing the entire market with its defiantly budget option. It really impressed us at launch too, when Dave checked out for his ROG Ally review. Back in May, he called it the first in line for the Steam Deck's throne. He also said of it, Asus has effectively rendered the top spec deck obsolete, thanks to the Ally's superb price tag of $699, just $50 more than the price tag of the 512GB Steam Deck. The anecdotal reports started coming in of the Ally eating up SD cards. They never really stopped. Users across Reddit and the Ally Discord server began filling RMAs for faulty SD cards, and later Asus admitted that its microSD card slot design was at fault. After confirmation from internal testing, under certain thermal stress conditions, the SD card may malfunction. That's not good at all.
I don't think anything's good anymore, Rory. It's all just gone, man. It's all dead.
That's
Everything's over.
For an otherwise unblemished and impressive handheld PC, you could excuse Asus for the issue, providing a proper fix to address it. To this day, however, no one is entirely sure if new motherboards fix the issue or not. It's loosely assumed that motherboard revisions since around August to October are less likely to balk a card, but you can search the web and find one answer on a Reddit thread and another in a Discord. Asus hasn't published much more info on the matter. I reached out to Asus for a follow-up a couple months back, and the email chain went a bit cold. That's the disappointing bit, really. The lack of communication. Basically, if you want to go for one, go for either the Steam Deck OLED. Lenovo Legion Go is suitable, but Steam Deck OLED, go for it. Destiny Lightfall we've covered, and we know it went to shit because, it laid off a load of employees. Bad PC ports. Here we go. 2023 is the year that we had to give The Last of Us Part 1, widely agreed to be one of the best games of all time, a 50% review score because it got such a ropey port.
Yeah. Did not go down well, did it?
Not at all. Naively, we thought dodgy PC ports of console games were largely a thing of the past. This year we were proved wrong, as over and over we were disappointed to find the PC versions of excellent games completely hamstrung by technical issues, from Star Wars Jedi Survivor to Horizon Zero Dawn to Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. We've had to endure stuttering, fuzzy textures, crashes, and absurd recommended hardware specs where we should be getting the best version of the game. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection.
That's actually been killing me lately with like all the new releases. We're seeing like the most absurd specs required for games that have just looked absolutely awful.
Oh yeah, it's fucking
And
bizarre.
it's blowing my mind, like the things that they're demanding.
It doesn't make much sense. It was so bad that the article we wrote back in February bemoaning the then nascent trend had to be updated in May to account for all the extra examples that came out, and we've only had even more since then. Each has been its own fresh disappointment, but on a broader level, it's simply disappointing seeing companies that we know can do better slide back into seeing PC players as less important customers than those on console. It doesn't surprise me, honestly. No surprises in PC hardware, it's pretty much the same shit year after year with that. No release date for the Elden Ring DLC. I think we all know about that as well. Basically, they've just not given us the release date. But do you know what did upset me about this entire article? No one's mentioned the first major letdown of the year. The one I purchased. The one I cannot get a fucking refund for. This fucking shit show of a game. Forspoken. 121 gigabytes of my fucking hard drive that bastard took up. Still sat at mixed. It's a 62% positive now, which I suppose is somewhat as a fucking benefit to it. 4,623 reviews. Let's check the reviews quickly. Still abysmal?
How did we get here, Rory? How did we just get here? No, stop. Stop it. Bad, Rory.
It wasn't
Bad,
on
Rory.
this. It wasn't on this fucking article. Because for some reason, no one's willing to mention that this game that came out this year is still fucking awful. 24th of January. It was the start to the shitstorm that was 2023. I stand
There's no
by
way.
that.
There's no way.
I have 15 days to rant about this bitch.
Oh,
and I will
man.
do it.
I feel like the first day we record, you're going to break that resolution. I'm feeling it, dude. I can feel that happening, man.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if there's any sort of medication I can take to just forget this year.
I mean, there definitely is.
Yeah, isn't it called, like, alcohol abuse? Counts, right?
That's one of many options, yes. Sorry, I was taking a drink when you said that.
But yeah, that game, in my opinion, is the start to every problem. But yeah, that, to be honest, is what we have for this week. Unless Will's got anything interesting you'd like to add.
I'm trying to run through my mind of things that I've seen. There's still loads of games that I'm awaiting, like release dates that are supposed to be coming 2024. I have quite a few of them wishlisted because they look like something that I'd have fun with.
Same here.
I mean, a lot of it's just always like to be announced. You know, there's never set dates, and anytime there's a set date, it always gets pushed back. It's really annoying.
It's starting to annoy me that. But I mean, I've got some good news if you want that to end it. The winter sale for Steam will be starting on the 21st of December.
There you are. It's only a couple of days.
Yeah, 5 days.
No news on Arizona, I take it, no?
No, absolutely bugger all.
We might just have to grit our teeth and bear through it.
I mean, I've not uploaded that first episode yet, mainly because I realised on Wednesday I was hectic with work, so I've gone, you know what? I'll upload it this week. That way I've got all week to get it just to the way I want it. So expect that about Wednesday.
Well, if you're up for it sometime through the week, we can give it another try.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah, nothing else I can really think of.
Fantastic. Well then, with all that being said, this episode, by the way, I do need to add, I've just thought about this. It may be released later on Sunday than normal.
How dare you, Roy? It's unacceptable.
Well, Rory's having a drink tonight to celebrate
Oh no.
finishing work, and means it's not going to get edited until tomorrow morning. So I'll edit it and
I think that's
get
fair,
everything
sir.
sorted. Yeah, I deserve a day off every now and again. God,
I mean, you don't really, but sure.
fuck off. I work 5 days a week every week. Fuck off.
No, sounds like a good plan, brother. Well,
Yeah,
I suppose we are nearing as well the end of the year, Roy,
we are.
which is crazy to think of already, seeing as when we started this podcast would have been the start of this year.
It was. It really
And
was.
how time has surely flown for us, my friend.
It has gone insanely fast, to be honest. There
Yep.
are 52 weeks to the year. We have done this weekly. This is the 48th episode. So we are 4 episodes away from a year's worth of episodes.
Yeah.
On top of that, our first episode was released 10 months ago on the 22nd of January, which
There you go.
was the date of our first ever episode. And I just can't believe how we're still here, still kicking through, still having a laugh as much as we can. Because let's
Yep.
be honest, sometimes it's a bit difficult because fucking games industry, sort of shit.
This was probably like a terrible year for us to start this, but we did it anyway.
Oh yeah, and you know what? We keep to it, we stick to it, we have fun where we can, and yeah, it's a good time overall.
That it is, my friend. That it is.
So, with all that, thank you all for watching for this past 48 episodes. We hope you've enjoyed, and we can't wait to see you all next time.
Yeah.
Bye for now, guys.
Have a good one.